Officially trade season, the deadline tomorrow, just over 18 hours away, and the Miami Heat stealing the headlines. Multiple media reports saying Andre Iguodala heading to the Miami Heat in what could be a complex deal 2 nights in a row. We'll get you more updates on that. Who else the Miami Heat could be acquiring? Details to come. Updates from this 9-game night out to Detroit. A Kobo for the Phoenix Suns. Hey, defense into offense. And looky here, end of 3, Phoenix within 3, despite the monster night for Andre Drummond, who's got 25 points and 14 rebounds. Reggie Jackson's got 15 points and 6 assists. 89-86, they'll head to the fourth quarter, and we will take you there in a couple of moments. Much more on the Andre Iguodala situation, much more on what else the Heat are working on here in a moment. But let's get an update here from B. Wood, who's in the film room. The Indiana Pacers, they came out of nowhere here. They were getting beaten up by the Raptors. B. Wood, what happened?
Now, the Raptors started off this game very, very well, and I know we're past Christmas and everything else, but it's still holiday season. And when I say holiday, I'm talking about Justin Holiday. He really turned it on, has 14 early points in the first half. He got it going from 3, but it wasn't just the threes. It's the fact that he understood where to move in the offense. Ball movement and player movement is critical in today's game of basketball, and Justin Holiday mastered that in the first half.
Turn.
Now you see right here, Justin Holiday doesn't stay in one spot, cuts right to the open area, was able to get the easy 3 in the corner right there. When your man starts looking in the post, move and get to an open area. Once again, Justin Holiday understanding, don't just stand around on the perimeter. He cuts to the basket, gets right back out to that corner, knocks down the 3-ball corner pocket. Not done. This guy's not just standing around. He's understanding where the defense is. He sees the Toronto Raptors defense collapse in. No one has any eyes on Holiday. Gets to the open area, frees himself with a nice pump fake and a sidestep dribble. Gets to the 3-point line, knocks it in. Justin Holiday has hit 4 threes in the first half, already has 14 points. And a lot of it is just simply because he knows how to move and cut when the defense isn't paying attention.
Well, we are paying attention to you, Brendan Haywood. Thanks for letting us know it's still holiday season. Take care of your Valentine. That holiday is coming up. Take you live to Detroit. Brendan Haywood, Sekou Smith, Jared Greenberg, much more on the Andre Iguodala news. He is reportedly headed to Miami. What else the Heat are working on is a story we are working on for you. But right now, it's out live to the Motor City, where we listen in to George Blaha and Greg Kelser, and it's live on Crunch Time.
Just underway in the fourth. Christian Wood with a show and go off the glass. No. Rebound Diallo to Rubio, ahead to Oubre. Oubre forces, misses. It's out of bounds to the Pistons.
Second time the Pistons have been able to get a breakaway opportunity after defense. Shot clock was about to run out when the Pistons got that steal, and Langston throws it down.
Now they have 15 points off turnovers. The Suns have no points off turnovers. And Okobo's just called for a foul. First team foul either way here in the fourth. Foul maker, Christian Wood, Tony Snell, Reggie Jackson, and Langston Galloway for the Pistons. On screen for Reggie. Reggie's pass finds Christian Wood, but in the meantime, foul's called on Rubio.
He shouldn't argue because it was going to be a dunk on the pass to Christian Wood. So Rubio's foul saved that. I like the cut by Christian Wood.
Reggie Jackson backs up against Bridges. Clock at 6. Guns for 3. Off the heel. Diallo with a rebound. Ricky Rubio against Tony Snell. Rubio in front to Bridges. Deeper to Diallo. Got him a dunk. 91-91, folks. Suns haven't gone away just yet. 9:45 to play. Reggie Jackson drives Okobo and scores. Uses strength there. Pistons by 2. Reggie has 17.
Good bounce back game for Reggie Jackson.
Okobo to Diallo. Now Kelly Oubre with the clock at 7. In front to Diallo. Pass too hot to handle. But it went out of bounds off Tony Snell.
All right, we'll get back out to Detroit and Phoenix, which looks like it's going to be a spectacular finish here in a couple of moments, live on Crunch Time. Right now, update from Minnesota. It is Atlanta leading 45-31. Trae Young and John Collins each have 11. Take you out to Memphis and Dallas. Grizzlies making all sorts of news. They're also playing a basketball game. John Morant, he's 3 of 3, 7 of the first 12 for Memphis, who trails Dallas by 1 right now. Here's Kristaps Porzingis coming off the best game he's played in a Mavericks jersey a couple of nights ago. Porzingis cutting to the cup. Speaking of the Memphis Grizzlies, they're part of our top story tonight. Breaking news all over the place. Not only is Andre Iguodala going to the Miami Heat, but as I talked about, I thought he had to replace their Swiss Army knife. Justise Winslow thought to be a part of the long-term future of the Miami Heat. According to Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN, Winslow, who's been suffering a multitude of injuries, and it appeared to be some dispute between Winslow's camp and the medical staff about when he should play, what the prognosis was. Winslow reportedly now going to Memphis. We're also learning that there has been draft picks in a deal included in this deal too, working on those details, Sekou. So Justise Winslow's time in Miami, once thought to be an untouchable in Miami, now going to Memphis.
I think a couple of years ago there was a thought that he was untouchable, but again, with the influx of this new talent, this young talent in Tyler Hero, and Kendrick Nunn, then Duncan Robinson emerging as a factor for Miami, it's changed the way they're calculating this roster and looking at what they have. Justise Winslow becomes expendable because, let's be honest, Jared, he does a lot of what Jimmy Butler does, but maybe not at the all-star level that Butler does it. So you have some redundancy there. You add Iguodala, there's absolutely no way you keep all 3 of those guys on that roster.
And now think about Memphis in the future, a team that's stunning the world in the playoff picture right now. And what their core could look like, assuming Justise Winslow could get healthy, you've got a backcourt of Winslow and John Morant with Jaren Jackson Jr., Brandon Clark and company
and
up
Dylan
front.
Brooks, all those
Dylan
guys
Brooks,
up
right.
front. Jonas Valanciunas playing at a high level. Memphis, again, we always talk about when certain teams take a step back, Jared, somebody has to step up. Memphis stepping up into the void in the Western Conference potentially with a very intriguing young roster. Maybe even taking the space that we thought the New Orleans Pelicans might with the way David Griffin put that roster together in New Orleans. I think Miami on the other side, though, to me, that's the really intriguing part, Jared. Miami has seized the moment. They've capitalized on what was a stunning start to their season, one of the best home teams in the league. To me, this is the kind of work that we see at the deadline that changes a franchise's trajectory. And Miami right now is pushing themselves into that upper tier in the Eastern Conference, not just this season, not just kind of for this one stroke, but potentially for years to come.
Now, there is some speculation that this deal, as we warned you, it could evolve into a multi-team deal, and there has been some reporting by ESPN tonight that the Heat were in talks with Oklahoma City to acquire Danilo Gallinari. Now, one name that I've yet to see on Twitter, but when you look at the salaries matching up here and wondering what would have to leave the Miami Heat, because there's got to be more than Justise Winslow to make all these salaries work here. You've got to wonder if Kelly Olynyk is involved in this deal at some point, or a guy like a Myers Leonard. I would think we'll continue to monitor the situation and get the latest on what the reports are out of this deal. But stay with us, because just like last night, when that deal with Clint Capella going to the Hawks and Robert Covington going to the Houston Rockets kept on growing and growing and growing, I have a feeling this one is going to do the same as well as we lead into our trade deadline coverage, which is officially underway right here live on NBA TV. Back to the games in a couple of moments. Live looks and updates from this 9-game night. Got a great finish that's come down to the wire between Phoenix and Detroit. We'll get you back out there in a moment to Little Caesars Arena. But Sekou, right now, what the Miami Heat are doing, is really, really smart. And I have to go back to thinking what we've been reading the last couple of weeks. There seemed to be some tension between Justise Winslow and the Miami Heat about his medical diagnosis. They tried to bring him back, got hurt again, went back out. I wonder if time just expired on Justise Winslow in Miami.
Yeah, and anytime you miss as much time as he did and allow, not by his own volition, obviously, of course he wants to be out there, but anytime you miss that much time, Jared, and there are other guys allowed to step in and assume those minutes and then to play as well as some of these guys have. Think about the minutes they've gotten out of Derrick Jones Jr. As I mentioned, Harrell, Nunn, Duncan Robinson. There's just so many people on that Miami roster that were willing, able, and capable of taking over those minutes that Justise Winslow was missing out on. It makes him a guy that could be fluid, at the trade deadline. Anytime a team is working with that many assets that are still kind of unquantified, it allows for some movement. And this is a credit to the Miami Heat for striking while they're hot. Some shrewd work by their front office. We'll see what kind of boost they get after all these changes, but certainly they didn't need to do anything to continue to be a team that was going to be a factor in Eastern Conference playoff change.
And again, not only Iguodala going to Miami and Justise Winslow going to Memphis, but it appears that Jay Crowder and Solomon Hill are also part of this deal. But again, can't repeat myself enough. Just like last night, unclear at this point which team those two players that are currently on Memphis may wind up with. They have expiring contracts. That may be something that Miami's trying to orchestrate with a third team, the likes of Oklahoma City, to help Miami land Danilo Gallinari. So this is going to be a very complex deal that's going to continue to grow.
What's remarkable about it? You're talking about three teams, all of them surprisingly in the playoff mix this year when nobody really had those expectations for them. It's hilarious to me when you talk about business that can't get done throughout the course of a season. You put that deadline out there, you put that 3 o'clock Eastern trade deadline out there around, and now teams that maybe wouldn't have done anything are making changes because they realize how close they are to the finish line of the regular season in the playoff mix with an opportunity to improve their situation and also fortify things down the road, potentially for years to come. Very intriguing that it's three teams, Jared, that are all in that playoff mix in their respective conference.
Well, Sekou, it is a massive night. The eve of the trade deadline. Our coverage all throughout tonight, leading right into tomorrow's trade deadline at 3 o'clock Eastern. We're live on the air tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern with the very latest news. Maybe earlier if news continues to break. But our job primarily tonight, in addition to talk about Iguodala going to Miami and what else that he could be working on, is showing you the biggest moments tonight as they happen live. Getting all choked up here by this big news that's happening. Big stuff happening out in Detroit. Andre Drummond putting together a special night for the Pistons. He's got himself 27 points, Sekou, and 15 rebounds.
Stop talking about trading him. The man says, don't talk. I don't want to hear my mouth. Nobody should be talking about me getting traded. I am the man in Detroit.
A building block for the future. Maybe the Pistons give him the max in this summer and keep him there forever to make their fans super happy. 101.94 live to Detroit next. More on Iguodala in Miami next. This is Crunch Time presented by Taco Bell.